You're tuning to Relationship Wednesday, the day we stop lying to ourselves about love. This is the Bad Influence Podcast. Yeah. The one they warn you about. Because it doesn't protect your comfort. It exposes it. Oh, yes, it does. I'm your host, Jordan Banderas, and today we're cutting through manipulation, codependency, and emotional myths with precision. If you're tired of walking on eggshells, if you're tired of guessing what's wrong, if you're tired of loving someone who's physically there but emotionally gone, this episode is for you. Raw truth, real growth. Let's get into it. So today's for the ladies. Ladies, let's get one thing straight. Men have feelings, not hypothetically, not deep down somewhere. They have them now, every single day. And if you don't understand that, you will slowly destroy your relationship without ever realizing why. Not with cheating, not with screaming, not with drama, but with silence. The quiet kind. The kind nobody argues about. The kind that looks like peace until one day you wake up next to a stranger. Because silence doesn't start as distance. It starts as protection. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Oh yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. When a man says, "I'm fine," do you actually believe him? Or do you accept it because it's easier than going deeper? "I'm fine" is rarely the truth. It's a ceasefire, a truce, a way to stay connected without risking rejection. Because somewhere along the way, he learned something dangerous. Honesty cost him respect. So, he chose silence instead. Not because he doesn't feel, but because he learned that feeling out loud comes with consequences. Men don't stop feeling. They stop sharing. And they don't do it because they don't trust you. They do it because experience taught them vulnerability isn't safe. Not dangerous, just inconvenient. It disrupts the image. It complicates the dynamic. It introduces uncertainty. And here's the part nobody tells you. A man can feel deeply and still choose silence out of love because he doesn't want to burden you, because he doesn't want to look weak, because he doesn't want to lose the version of himself you fell in love with. So he edits. He filters. He compresses his inner world into something manageable. Until one day, there's nothing left to say. That's not emotional maturity. That's emotional erosion. Let's talk about the assumption trap. What do you assume men feel versus what you've actually asked? Assumptions kill intimacy faster than arguments because arguments still involve presence. Assumptions erase curiosity. You think you already know. You fill in the blanks. And without meaning to, you turn him into an emotional ghost. Replace assumption with curiosity. Ask without judgment. And wait. And I get it. Waiting is uncomfortable because silence forces you to confront something real. Not his weakness, your impatience. Most women don't realize this. When you rush a man's emotions, he shuts the door, not to punish you, to protect what little safety he has left. Safety isn't reassurance, it's permission without pressure. Let me tell you what emotional safety actually looks like. Not theory, not Instagram quotes, real life. My wife doesn't interrogate me when I'm quiet. She doesn't demand clarity on a schedule. She doesn't weaponize my honesty later. She gives me space, not distance, a space. And because of that, I don't disappear. I return. I come back grounded, present, clear. That space didn't weaken me. It made me braver because I knew something critical. I wouldn't be punished for being human. Most people misunderstand strength. They think strength is emotional absence, control, distance. But real strength is emotional honesty without collapse. Men were taught that strong means silent. Stable means unaffected. Unshakable means unreachable. That model doesn't create leaders. It creates isolated men. Men who carry everything alone. Men who don't ask for help. Men who shut down instead of opening up. I watched this play out in a friend's marriage. She grew up believing men were unbreakable, that feelings were optional, that vulnerability weakened masculinity. So when her husband tried to open up, she shut it down. Not with cruelty, with confusion. She didn't know how to hold it. She didn't know what to do with it. She didn't want to see cracks. And the reason behind that is because cracks threaten the image, and the image felt safe. She never said out loud, but her fear was simple. If I see his pain, will I still feel protected? So she minimized, redirected, changed the subject. And slowly, unintentionally, she taught him to disappear. Emotionally. One night, she asked me something that changed everything. She said, "How does your wife deal with your emotions?" I didn't give her advice. I gave her the truth. I told her my wife is curious, not controlling, not dismissive, curious. Because she understands I'm human. Because she understands I carry weight. And because of that, our relationship got stronger, not softer. Here's the part nobody prepares you for. When a man stops sharing, he doesn't stop feeling, he internalizes. And what's internalized doesn't disappear. It calcifies. Silence becomes a habit. Habit becomes identity. He learns to translate emotion into productivity, into work, into grinding, into staying busy enough to not feel. From the outside, it looks like strength. Inside, it feels like suffocation. Because nobody ever told him his inner world mattered. Only his output did. This is how men disappear in relationships without leaving. Physically present, emotionally gone. They stop initiating conversation. They stop asking for support. They stop bringing things up. Because every attempt taught them the same lesson. it's not worth it. Not because you didn't care, but because you didn't know how to hold it. I watched my friend's husband shrink in real time, not overnight, slowly. He stopped joking, he stopped sharing ideas, he stopped talking about fears. He became efficient, reliable, predictable, and lonely as hell. That loneliness doesn't always turn into anger. Sometimes it turns into numbness. Numb men don't cheat, they disengage. They don't fight for connection. They stop needing. And when a man stops needing, the relationship is already bleeding out. Here's the truth most people avoid. A man will endure emotional starvation longer than most women can imagine because he was trained to endure, to push through, to carry weight quietly. But endurance isn't intimacy, and silence isn't strength. One night, my friend finally did something different. She didn't fix, she didn't reassure, she didn't interrupt. She actually listened. And something unexpected happened. He talked. Not dramatically, not poetically, honestly. He said he felt invisible, replaceable, like his emotions were inconvenient. And instead of defending herself, she stayed. That moment cracked years of silence. Not because she said the right thing, no, but because she didn't leave emotionally. This is what safety actually does. It invites truth out of hiding. Men don't need fixing. They need a space to exist fully. Masculinity doesn't disappear when emotions surface. It deepens. A man who is hurt becomes more grounded, not less strong. Here's where this stops being theory and starts becoming a line in the sand. Because every relationship reaches this moment. The moment where comfort fights growth. You can keep the dynamic, or you can build the connection you actually want. But you don't get both. Emotional safety doesn't mean cuddling. It means containment without control. It means letting him feel without managing the outcome. That's hard, and I get it. Because it forces you to give up the illusion of power and replace it with trust. Most relationships don't break due to conflict. They break from mismanaged vulnerability. One person risks honesty, the other panics. They interrupt. They explain. They minimize. And without meaning to, they teach the same lesson again. Don't bring that here. If you want a man who leads, you have to let him be human first. Leadership doesn't grow under emotional surveillance. It grows under trust. The strongest men I know are not silent. They're selective. They speak where it's safe. They shut down where it's not. That choice isn't punishment. It's protection. So ask yourself this, without this defensiveness. Is your relationship a place where truth can land? Not agreement, not comfort, truth. Because love that can't hold truth will always collapse under pressure. If he opens up this week, just pause, breathe, Let the urge to fix pass. Let the discomfort sit. Because presence is not passive, it's discipline. Say this instead: I'm listening. Not, here's what you should do. Not, that's how it is. Just, I'm here. That sentence builds more trust than 1,000 reassurances. Because when a man feels emotionally safe, he doesn't withdraw. He roots. He becomes more decisive, more present, more committed. Not because he's afraid to lose you, but because he finally feels seen. That's how intimacy deepens without killing attraction. That's how masculinity evolves instead of hardens. You don't need to become softer. You need to become safer. And safety doesn't weaken love, it fortifies it. So draw the line today between assumption and curiosity, between silence and connection. Because when men are hurt, they don't destroy relationships, they build them. And remember, the choice is yours. This is the Bad Influence Podcast. If this hit you close to home, sit with it. Then share it with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, lead with clarity, love with courage, and stop settling for surface level connection. And have a great day.